Hello, my name is Haley. I'm a research assistant with the Center for Children, Families, and Workforce Development. Today I want to talk to you about evidence-based practice, what it is, what it isn't, and how to make it work in your organization and community. The National Association of Social Workers defines evidence-based practice as a process in which the practitioner combines well-researched interventions with client preferences, ethics, clinical expertise, and culture to guide and inform the delivery of treatment and services. I want to emphasize that the EBP process is a continual process that needs to be adapted as new research emerges and as you work with different client groups. So let's jump into the EBP process and take a deeper look. It all starts with asking a question of how you can serve your clients and your community better. In order to answer this question, you'll search the literature to look for innovative approaches and tried and true methods to working with this population. Once you've selected a program, you can incorporate clinical knowledge and client preferences into this practice to make it relevant to your community. And lastly, be sure to evaluate the program. Always evaluate to be sure that the program you implemented had its desired effect. So let's look a little bit more at step 2 of searching the literature, as this can be a daunting part of the EBP process. So where to gather evidence? Evidence can be gathered from external sources such as systematic reviews, randomized control trials, best practices, and clinical practice guidelines. You can also use internal evidence sources such as quality improvement projects, healthcare provider expertise, and client preferences and culture. Luckily, there are also many resources to help in step 2 of finding a program you want to implement. On this slide, I've included several databases where you can find hundreds and hundreds of evidence-based programs. I've included links in the description box below for all of these evidence-based practice databases, so check those out. These are amazing resources for you. So there are many examples of evidence-based practices in our communities every day. Today I want to talk about nurse-family partnership a bit, which is an evidence-based practice that has had very great results in Montana and throughout the country. So nurse-family partnership is a program that serves low-income women who are pregnant with their first child. Parents are partnered with a registered nurse early in their pregnancy and receive ongoing nurse home visits for over a year. Nurse-family partnership helps families and the communities that they live in become stronger while also saving money for local, state, and federal governments. For every dollar spent on the nurse-family partnership program, a community sees a $5.70 return in value. This is huge. Research has also shown that families that participate in this program have a 48% reduction in child abuse and neglect, 56% reduction in emergency room visits for accidents and poisonings, and also a 67% reduction in behavioral and intellectual problems among the children at age 6. So these are great positive impacts. Evidence-based practices can make a huge difference in our communities. When talking about evidence-based practice, it's important to note that it is appropriate at times to modify programs to make them culturally relevant. EBPs are not always designed or tested on a variety of cultural groups, and because of this, they may not be culturally relevant for the diverse populations that your organization serves, and they may need to be modified. So modifying EBPs. According to SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, it can be appropriate to modify them when the practice does not seem culturally relevant. Do this by involving your community and diverse stakeholders in the process. Once you've chosen a program, decide which components seem like they would work and wouldn't work for your community. Decide on modifications, implement those modifications, and lastly, be sure to evaluate the program to ensure that it had its desired effect. A quick note about fidelity. When modifying programs, it's important to pay attention to fidelity. Fidelity is the extent to which a program is implemented as it was intended. So some thoughts on adaptations. SAMHSA recommends these steps. They recommend retaining the core components of a program, like the setting and length of the program, that you try to increase local readiness before incorporating new modifications, and that you add components to the program rather than subtract them. So add in those culturally specific pieces rather than taking components of the practice out. And lastly, be sure to adapt a program with care and seek consultation from experts, program creators, and the people that you are trying to serve better with these modifications. That's all I have for you in evidence-based practice today. I hope this was helpful.